The Republican-led House Judiciary Committee is seriously weighing issuing subpoenas for Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg and two prosecutors who resigned from his team after former President Donald Trump was indicted and arraigned. The two prosecutors on his team resigned last year when it appeared that Bragg was not going to indict the former president. The resignations came in February 2022 during a month-long freeze in presenting evidence to a grand jury, and some believe it suggests a lack of confidence in the case by District Attorney Alvin Bragg. The New York Times reported, the unexpected development came not long after the high-stakes inquiry appeared to be gaining momentum and now throws its future into serious doubt. The prosecutors, Carrie R. Dunn and Mark F. Pomerantz, submitted their resignations because the new Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, indicated to them that he had doubts about moving forward with a case against Mr. Trump, the People said. Mr. Pomerantz confirmed in a brief interview that he had resigned but declined to elaborate. Mr. Dunn declined to comment. Without Mr. Bragg's commitment to move forward, the prosecutors late last month postponed a plan to question at least one witness before the grand jury, one of the People said. They have not questioned any witnesses in front of the grand jury for more than a month, essentially pausing their investigation into whether Mr. Trump inflated the value of his assets to obtain favorable loan terms from banks, the NYT report added. The Times noted that Bragg has had roadblocks in presenting his case, including not being able to get executives at the Trump Organization to testify against Trump. But a year later, the former president was indicted by Bragg in what many Republicans, and some Democrats, believe was based more on politics than the law. Pomerantz, who donated to former Democrat presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's campaign, penned a book on the investigation and his resignation, which laid out the case to charge Trump. This week, Trump pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records in a Manhattan criminal court. A source familiar told Fox News Digital on Wednesday night that the House Judiciary Committee is seriously considering issuing subpoenas for Bragg and the two ex-prosecutors, Mark Pomerantz and Carrie Dunn, to testify before the panel, Fox News said. House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan has come out swinging in defense of former President Donald Trump and is threatening to defund any government agencies that engage in election interference. During an interview on Fox News, Jordan sounded off on government agencies politically targeting Trump ahead of the 2024 presidential election. The key is to get the facts on the table. We're doing that with all kinds of issues where we think agencies have been turned against the very American people they're supposed to serve. So you get the facts on the table, and then you look at legislation. Our job is we're legislators. Our job is to pass legislation, write laws, and pass legislation. So we'll look at that. We control the power of the purse, and we're going to have to look at the appropriations process and limit funds going to some of these agencies, particularly the ones engaged in the most egregious behavior, Jordan declared. So the DOJ and the FBI? Host Maria Bartiromo asked. Yeah. And what I'd really like, frankly, I'd like for the government just to stay out of the election process. 2016, they spied on his campaign. 2018, the Mueller investigation. 2020, they suppressed the Hunter Biden story. 2022, they raid his home 91 days before an election, and now 2024 election, the leading candidate for the presidential nomination, they indict the former president and top candidate who's leading in every poll, Jordan pointed out. Just let we, the people, decide who we want to elect and stay out of the election process, for goodness sake, Jordan urged. Jordan emphasized that this is bigger than Trump, noting this involves all of us. I don't think it's an accident that the same week we learned that the IRS knocked on Matt Taibbi's door while he was testifying in Congress. That same week is when we learned a district attorney, a left-wing district attorney, a Soros-backed district attorney is going to go after the former president of the United States. I mean, that is a scary thing, that they paid a foreigner. Think about this. They paid a foreigner to put together a fake dossier to spy on President Trump's campaign. The FTC sends letters to Twitter demanding who are the journalists you're talking to. And then, of course, when Nat Taibbi is testifying, the IRS is knocking on his door, and now an indictment of a former president, the guy who happens to be leading in every single poll. This is about all of us. This is about going after anyone who opposes the left's agenda, the establishment's agenda. And that's maybe the scariest thing of all, Jordan concluded.